Hello. Good afternoon. My name is Edson. So, in this video, I'd like to quickly talk about what's the difference between a computer science degree against a computer engineering degree. And wanted to give you a perspective if it really matters if you majored in a computer science degree or a computer engineering degree when you're in college. In short, a computer science degree mostly you study programming and how computer work. But the program usually give you a lot of flexibility to pick any elective that you're interested. What I have seen is that some students would take elective in the art. Mostly these are the people who are interested in computer graphics. Some other student will take elective in linguistic if this is what they're interested. Mostly the computer science degree give you the flexibility to take any elective that you are interested that doesn't necessarily need to be the computer science department. It can be in the liberal art department. Whereas the computer engineering might be slightly different is that the computer engineering itself, your elective has to be part of the computer in electrical engineering department. And the tendencies for usually those elective require some heavy math. For example, some require you to have calculus 3, differential equations, and linear algebra just to take those elective. As such, the program tend to be longer because not only you have to take those elective, but also the prerequisite for those elective are very advanced. Most classes that a student will take in the electrical engineering department are related to circuit. It's going to be related to how to build microprocessors, how digital circuit work, signal processing, digital signals, and all these courses that are mostly, I would say, hardware, but at the same time, they mostly focus on not only knowing how to program, but knowing how to program for the hardware. So that's pretty much the focus. When it comes after graduation, if you major in computer science or if you major in computer engineering, the reality is that it doesn't matter. Your employer would not say they would not employ you because you had an undergraduate in computer engineering instead of computer science. And that's something to take into consideration when you pick it. Uh, as I said, computer engineering is really hard. The hard of it has to do with entry, the high barrier of entry, because you have to be very good with math and you have to be very good with lab. Because there's a lot of lab where you're building circuit, you're building little computer, you're building little controllers, and these tend to take a lot of time. And you might realize when you get your first job that all of those things that you've learned, they are just thrown away. Your employer most likely would not be use those skills, would not use this skill. And also one thing to consider is that the one skill that any job want, it's your ability to program. And most of the most important skill you have to take away when you're graduating is your ability to solve data structure and algorithm question beyond what is taught in class. So, regardless of what major you take, uh, you need to understand that most to get your first job, you need to be really good at data structures and algorithm. And as I said earlier, your employer probably doesn't really care if you majored in computer science or computer engineering as long as you can do their data structures and algorithm question, they would happily hire you. So now the type of job, certain type of job with a computer engineering degree, when you start this job, it means your ramp up time would be less. Any job that require you to write computer program to help pieces of hardware to communicate with one another, a computer engineering degree would give you the skill that you need to be able to do this. Otherwise, even if you don't have the skill, as I said earlier, even if you don't take a computer engineering degree, your employer would give you time to learn this thing on the job, which is really good. Think about it. Uh, a computer engineering would be someone who would be interested in working at Apple, right? Apple computer not only build the hardware, like the Apple computer, but they also build the software. So, like if you are into this type, you probably be like someone working at Apple or someone who works in a car, right? Where you write software to control at the wheel of the car and things like that. Whereas if you're pure computer science, you might think Facebook, right? Facebook doesn't necessarily do any pure hardware. They probably bought hardware company like Oculus Rift, but they don't build hardware. The majority of their job is to write software. So whichever one you pick, you have to go based on your interest. Because if you pick one that doesn't interest you, regardless computer science or computer engineering, it wouldn't make any sense. I majored in computer engineering, but if I knew that my employer wouldn't care if I did computer engineering or computer science, I'd definitely do computer science and take some easy elective to keep my grade high. Because computer engineering, again, is very difficult. It is very difficult and time consuming, but it's also very rewarding in terms of like you can build a computer from scratch. I think that's what you learn with your computer engineering degree. How can you put a computer together from scratch? And maybe you would have a deeper understanding on how operating system work, a deeper understanding on how program compile to, how program get executed inside of a CPU. But these skills are most, I would say 90 to 80, 80 to 90% of the job out here, they don't require the skill that a computer engineering would get. Like someone who specializes in computer engineering. Most of the job does it. Most of the job you get after you graduate is mostly learning things on the job, and it's mostly building web applications. Right? It's really good to know how the computer work internally, but not necessarily gonna give you any advantage if you have a computer engineering degree over a computer science. Again, if you have to pick whichever you like the most, and don't sweat it that much. I hope this video was helpful. And if you have any other question or something specific you want to learn about, you can ask me, and I'll definitely give you my input. Meanwhile, I will wait until I submit the next video. And please subscribe to this channel if this content is something that interests you. Most of the thing I will talk about this channel are related to computers and videos, like mostly media and code. Those are the main focus of the channel. Thank you very much and see you next time.